So, welcome to the webinar tonight, everybody. This is Magical Maths franchise, and I'm going to talk you through absolutely everything that you need to know about the franchise, all the different aspects of it, and you can ask lots of questions as we go, so make sure that you are doing. The idea of these webinars and of our discovery days, because it's the same kind of thing, the idea is that we are both getting to know one another, and I will go through everything that you need to know to decide if it's right for you, and then hopefully I get to know all of you guys a little bit, or chat to you afterwards if I've not already spoken to you on the phone, and I can get to know you a bit more as well, because then we can decide if it's right for one another. And if it's not, then that's absolutely fine. I won't be chasing you if you say no. It has to be right for you. Right, so these are all the different things that we're going to cover this evening. As I go past each one, it will turn red, and then you know whereabouts we are. And if you've got any questions at the end of that on that particular section, remember to just type them in. Hopefully, then if it's not been covered, I can come back to it at the end. But in the FAQs document that I'll send out afterwards, it will be covered there. So just to get to know a bit more about you guys and who's here, if you want to perhaps give me on a scale of 1 to 10 how much you feel you know about the franchise at this stage. Usually there's some people that have perhaps already been to one of our events in the past, or they might have been on the website or spoken to me on the phone a few times. You might have seen the information pack. Or it might be that you're completely new to this. You might have only just started looking at franchises recently. You've only just come across us, and it just so happens that this was on and it fitted with you quite nicely. So if you just want to give me an idea so I know who we've got in the room, that would be really useful. Okay, so we've got a huge variety, I think it seems. There's a lot of different people at different stages, which is good. And don't worry, because everyone at the end of this will be in the same position, and you'll all hopefully be at a point whether or not you know it's something that you either want to go a little bit further with to find out more. You'll either know it's for you, or you might decide it's not, and that's absolutely fine as well. So to give you a bit of background then, we're growing really, really quickly. We launched as a franchise in 2014, but we were running Magical Maths in Leicestershire before that for 2 years. So we launched in Leicestershire in 2011, and then two and a bit years later, we decided to franchise, and we launched the franchise in 2014. And in that time, we've now got 33 franchisees in over 50 territories across the country. So we're a very, very fast growing franchise, which is fantastic because it means that we're able to help lots and lots of children. So there's lots of people that are doing great things. And just to give you an example of one of them, this is Catherine Weway from South Hertfordshire. In her first half term, which is her first 6 weeks of clubs, she made £8,975.56, and that's after we deducted her franchise fees. So that's a very, very good half term. That's for the first 6 weeks of the business. And there's lots of others that are doing good things as well. This is just a selection of them, but there's more and more all the while that are out doing their projections and doing really, really good things, expanding into new areas as well. So it's a really exciting time for anyone in the franchise, but also anybody that's joining us. So the reason that Catherine decided to join the franchise was because she wanted to spend more time with her children, and that's something that quite a few of our franchisees can relate to. They're all working busy jobs where they don't get to see their kids in the evening, and they wanted to be able to spend a bit more quality time with them. Catherine was actually a publican, so she was working very unsociable hours, but she said that Magical Maths has been the life-changing opportunity that we were looking for. We're loving working with the children each day. It's been a massive success for us. And this is Raphael. He said that Magical Maths support has been amazing so far. They have an absolutely brilliant team who will do what they need to do to support you, particularly in your early setup stages. 2 members of head office came down to deliver my first assembly, which already generated 46 sign-ups and my first £1,702 in revenue. So that's just one assembly that he did in a school, and you can see that that's obviously a very, very good result for one assembly in a morning. And the support there that he's commenting on is fairly typical of what you'd get, not just in the early setup stages, but ongoing as well, which is what Margaret's commenting on here. So Margaret's saying that the magical math support is second to none. During my setup stages, I had them on the phone at 8 a.m. and was receiving emails at 10 p.m. I really doubt you'd receive that support from most franchise companies. I'll be honest, I can't promise that will always happen, but it just gives you an idea of the lengths that we'll go to make sure that our franchisees are okay and that you're not out there on your own struggling. So as we've been growing, we've been in lots of press. We were on the front cover of the Business Franchise magazine, which is the British Franchise Association's magazine. So to be on that cover, we had to go through lots of prestigious checks with those. I've checked our franchise agreement. We're exhibition accredited to be on the front of there. So that's great that we've been on there now for 2 years running. We were in the iNewspaper and we were in the Times Educational Supplement, which is a really, really big newspaper across all schools in the UK. So the main thing then that you need to know is that we're all about making maths really fun for primary school children. So we don't go outside of maths at the moment. We're all about making it really, really fun for them. We're not like traditional tuition where we say we will get them from this grade to the other. For us, yes, it's about making sure that children are doing well in their maths and it's genuinely educational, but it's also about showing them that maths can be fun. It's not a scary subject. It's not a boring subject, and it's getting them loving it and building their confidence in it. And it's all for primary school children. So we don't go outside of primary at the moment. All of the content that we've got is designed around the primary school national curriculum. So for you, the opportunity, once it's set up properly, has some considerable earning potential, which I'll talk you through a bit more later. Once it's set up properly, it can become quite part-time. It can feel very, very flexible. You've got 13 weeks of holiday that you can be taking advantage of. And the good thing about this is you can work from home, so it can work around you and your hours. And there's very little real competition for what we do at the moment. And we've been very lucky in that the last couple of years we haven't really had any direct competition, which is a crazy position to be in. It's all about the fact that we're so niche and there's not many people out there that are making maths fun in the same way that we are, doing the after school clubs and things like that. There's lots of tuition, there's lots of different education franchises, but there's nobody really that's making maths fun in the same way that we are, which won't always be the case. People will see a good thing and they'll copy, but the key thing here is that we were always the first ones that did it, and we'll always make sure that we're one step ahead and the best in the market. The main thing, obviously, for everybody is that it's loads and loads of fun, and that's not just for the children that are on the clubs, but it's for your staff delivering them and for you running the business. It's mega rewarding. That picture is taken at one of our after school clubs in Leicestershire, and I think if you'd showed that picture to people and asked them to tell you where it was taken, not many of them would say a maths after school club. Okay, so a bit about me and why you're listening to me. So I'm Bethan. Most of you will have spoken to me on the phone, I imagine, at some point, or we've emailed, or we've spoken anyway. My background is in education. I did a degree in education studies at De Montfort University in Leicester, and with the view to always wanting to go into teaching. I used to put my teddies on the stairs and do a register with them, and so I think from the very beginning, teaching or being in education is something I've always wanted to do. Came out of university, worked with children throughout that, before that and after that. I went into work in the after school sector. I worked for another after school provider that delivered lessons in the day as well. So I know a lot about education and about the after school sector, and that is how I came across Magical Maths. So I'm the franchise recruitment manager here now, and I'm in charge of finding the absolute best people to run the franchise in their area and get them off the ground. So from first inquiry, asking information, wanting answers, working out how it can work for you, right the way through to deciding it is for you and getting you set up on the training, then I'm the best person to talk to. So here's Colin, and if you've read the information pack or read much on our website, then you perhaps already know a little bit about Colin. So Colin is the founder of Magical Maths. He's got a first class degree in maths, and he got that at Sheffield University. He absolutely loves working with children and helping them to improve their future. And he also looked at different teaching avenues as well, but also knew that he wanted to start his own business. So I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in a minute, but I think the key information, if you don't take anything else from this webinar this evening, the key bits of information that you need to know are that Colin is a Leicester City supporter, a hard-working business owner, and an expert at beating his younger sister Lindsay at Mario Kart. So that's like the key information that you need to know. Right, so coming back to the business idea then. So when Colin left university, he started his own tuition company called Guaranteed Grades, and that was tuition for English, maths and science for all ages. And what he found was he was getting a lot of parents and a lot of teachers asking about primary maths, and that was really the main business that he had. He was tutoring primary maths. And when he was tutoring these children, he found that the kids were finding it really, really boring. And obviously he loves maths, so wanted to change that. So decided to set up a Magical Maths Club with the idea that setting up the Magical Maths Club, getting the children enjoying their maths, then that business would feed into Guaranteed Grades. So he went along to his old primary school in Leicestershire and asked them if he could trial this after school club. It went for 6 weeks. It was really, really popular. The school loved it, the children loved it, parents loved it, and they asked him to come back again the following term. At this point, Colin didn't actually have any content for the following term, so he had to go home and create a load of games and activities for the next lot of clubs. And the response to those clubs was even better, to the point where we actually had to put the prices up for our clubs to keep the numbers down to make it more manageable, because, as I say, it was all leading towards trickling into Guaranteed Grades. It wasn't meant to be something that took off on its own, but it absolutely did. And it has completely snowballed, not just across Leicestershire, but now across the whole country. So Guaranteed Grades is still now running in the background, but it is background, and Magical Maths has completely overtaken it. So in starting Guaranteed Grades and starting Magical Maths, and as both of them have grown, particularly Magical Maths has grown, all of these awards have started to arrive, which is fantastic. So you can see on the left-hand side there, Colin has been nominated for and won twice the Young Entrepreneur of the Year. The 2 years that he won it, that was predominantly for Magical Maths and the franchise. And then on the right-hand side, you can see that you've got marketing awards there. So the two at the top and the bottom, they're from the Chartered Institute of Marketing, which is a really, really big award in marketing. Obviously, we've been nominated there for the New Marketer of the Year, and then the following year for Marketer of the Year. And then this year we were finalists in the Franchise Marketing Awards as well, which is fantastic. And as Colin was winning awards, so is his sister Jenny. So Jenny is the co-director of Magical Maths, and last year she won the New Woman Franchisor of the Year award from the Encouraging Women into Franchising, which we're all really happy about. And then we have just found out that she is a finalist again for the New Woman Franchisor of the Year this year. So we've all got our fingers crossed. So as Magical Maths started to grow from Leicestershire and then out into the UK, we knew that we had to set ourselves a target, and the target was to help 150,000 primary school students to love their maths each year and every year. And we are on track to doing that now with the rate that we're growing with the franchise. And that's the main reason why we are a franchise, because we wanted to scale up much quicker to help more children. And that's the quickest and easiest way of doing it. So we're looking for all the best franchisees to go and help 150,000 children across the country. But even with amazing franchisees everywhere, it's not something that us at head office or you out in your territories do alone. We're not the ones that really make it special. It's these guys. So who knows about our characters? If you perhaps know their names, you might want to type that in, or if you've perhaps seen them on the website. Anybody? Anyone know who we've got? Oh, some people. Brilliant. Okay, so some people know some of our characters, which is great. Okay, so here they are. Congratulations, all of those of you that knew. But for those of you that don't, your life is about to get much more exciting with these guys. So we have got Professor Poopenstinken, who is the cleverest maths genius in the whole world, and she works for us. Can you believe that? She goes in on the first week and teaches or he goes in on the first week and teaches the children to be maths geniuses by squaring huge numbers in their head and doing huge calculations. And then we've got Stately Holmes, who is the maths detective, and he goes in and helps the children to crack codes, but just using the power of maths. We've got the math magician, and he goes in and teaches the children maths magic and things like reading their teacher's mind without them telling them, which is great for the kids, not so good for the teachers because it's things like guessing their ages, which obviously the children would absolutely love. And then on the bottom corner, you've got the Olympic mathletes. So on one of the weeks, the mathletes go in and they combine maths and numbers with sports and games, and it's a really energetic week, that one. So how does it work? We run a series of after-school clubs, daytime clubs, training days, holiday camps, and all of them are designed to make maths fun. But as a franchisee, the bulk of your income would come from the after-school club. So that's what I'm going to focus on in this webinar. So this is how the after-school clubs work. We do a series of 6-week programs throughout the year. We'll always keep the 2 key stages separate, so that's the infants and the juniors. Generally, we'll run 4 clubs per school per year, and that's because we'll be running a club for Key Stage 1 and a club for Key Stage 2 at one part of the year. Then we'll come out, and then later on in the year, we'll go back to that school and we'll do a follow-on lot of content for the same age groups. So I hope that all makes sense. Just say if it doesn't. And over half of your schools should be booking year on year. And if they're not, then we'll need to have a look at what's happening and come and help you and see what it is that's going wrong. But realistically, if you're building up good relationships with the schools, which is what this is all about, then definitely over half of the schools should be rebooking year on year, because we've got brand new content and we cater for all the ages and all of the abilities. Okay, so that's a bit of background covered. We're going to go on to the marketing now. Remember to keep asking questions if you've got them as they come up. It's really useful for me to putting together the FAQs document. And as I say, I'll go over some of them at the end as well if there's a few of the same questions being asked. But please make sure that you're typing in the questions so that you get the most out of it that you can. Right, so marketing then. Anybody from a marketing background? If you want to just type in, let me know. Anybody ever done any marketing before? Yes, some people have, some people haven't. Not a problem. Don't worry about it. Right, so for those of you that don't know, marketing is absolutely essential for a strong business income. So you have to have really good marketing skills to be able to get the customers in the door. I use an example that I think makes a lot of sense. When you've got a hairdresser who is in a salon and they're thinking, they're a very good hairdresser and they're thinking, I can cut hair better than the person that owns this salon. So they think, I know, I'll open my own salon. And they open their own salon, and don't get me wrong, they're fantastic at cutting hair, but they haven't got the skills that they need to get the customers in the door. So then the business fails, and that all comes down to the marketing. So luckily, we're really good at it, as you've seen from our different awards that we've got and been nominated for. So it doesn't matter if you haven't got a background in marketing, because we can help you a lot with that. And it's important for me just to point out as well that these awards that I taught you through earlier on were for our main campaign for getting the schools to book and the parents to pay for the after school club. So these are the marketing campaigns that you will use in your business. And this is what it might look like. So there's a series of letters and postcards and emails that we've got templated ready to go for you to just choose and send out to whichever contacts you want to. We'll provide you with the list of contacts in your area, so all of the school's data will be given to you, and you can just decide who you're sending what to. But this is what a typical campaign might look like. So we spent in Leicestershire just over £360, £364 on 300 letters to schools, and then followed them up with 2 emails to each of those schools. And that's from an example here in Leicestershire. And after the second email was sent out, we had 68 clubs booked in. So that's 68 clubs, not 68 schools, which was an estimated £50,320 in sales, and the income is still coming in for that because schools are still rebooking from that initial campaign. So you might be thinking, why at this point did we stop if we're getting such good results? Well, we needed to rebuild the team. So in the next half term, we sent out another lot of letters and emails. We sent 1 letter, this time 5 emails and 1 postcard, and we got an additional 75 club bookings on top of the 68 that we already had. And that came back as an estimated £55,500 in sales. And the same thing goes, the sales are still coming in for that because schools are still rebooking. So this is marketing that is sent to the schools, and this is what gets the schools to book us in for the clubs in the assemblies. So is there more that you can do? Yes, lots. Thank you all for asking. So there's lots of different letters to schools that you can be sending. It's not just one letter that goes out time and time again. And there's different letters for different times of the year as well, and different schools if you've got different relationships with them. And these are all available to you. These are our best performing letters that we've tested here in our head office territory. And whenever we find that we've got some that are underperforming, we'll replace them with more ones that are performing much better. So we've done handwritten letters in the past. We've got letters that are for Halloween and Christmas and pie days in Maths Pie that franchisees have taken into schools along with an apple pie to grab attention, and they've got some really good results. So there's lots of things that you can be using. And then there's postcards that you can use as well, and you can either use our postcards with our testimonials on, but really you want to be getting your own on there as soon as you can. So as soon as you've got some good relationships with your schools, get some testimonials and get those sent out to more schools in your area. That one on the front that you can see, that's Colin and his teacher Andrea, and that was the school that we tested Magical Maths in. And Andrea is the head of maths at Hallbrook Primary School. So all of the heads of maths in the local area will know Andrea. So if they saw that postcard land, they'd want to know, well, what's Andrea doing? And Andrea's saying Magical Maths has given us a fun, exciting and challenging after-school maths club, which has mystified and enthralled. So that is a fantastic testimonial that got a lot of attention and helped us with our bookings. So really, you want to be getting those out in your area as soon as you can. We also have PR letters to the media that you can use to get yourself in some local press, and they're all templated as well. And they've got us into the Leicester Mercury, which is the biggest paper in Leicestershire, and we're also on Capital FM every morning of the Olympics. So there's also been franchisees that have used them in their areas and been in their local papers too. And as soon as you have been in these different places, you can start to put that onto your marketing. So just to recap, our marketing has achieved return on investment as high as 10,000%, which is very, very good, but it won't always be that way and it will go up and down, but it's been fairly consistent. And we've won lots of awards for the marketing that we've done. And this is just a few of them. I've shown you some of the national awards and the franchise marketing awards. These are some more of the local awards that we've been nominated for. And this is all marketing that you use as a franchisee. We help you with. It's all templated there, ready to go. And if you've got ideas for marketing as well, so if you're from a marketing background or you fancy having a go at it, then we welcome those ideas, and we'll help you to create your own kind of things in your area if you want to do that too. But you shouldn't just rely on this marketing. It's all there for you, but you shouldn't just expect to send that out and get results all the time. You'll have to follow up those postcards and emails and letters with phone calls to schools, and this is going to be a really key part of your marketing campaign, because this is when you get to chat to people. This is when you start to build the relationships with them and they get to know you a bit better and what you're trying to do in your area. And on those phone calls you might book meetings with the teachers, which is usually the biggest converter, but it obviously takes a little bit more time. You should use any personal contacts that you've got in your area. So don't worry, you don't have to be from a teaching background. It might not be that you've got contacts who are teachers, but you might have people that are on the PTA in the school, or they're a governor, or they know the caretaker, or they're married to a teacher. So any personal contacts that you've got, really use those. And you should also find out when your local head teachers meetings are as well. So not just head teachers meetings, there are deputy meetings and maths coordinator meetings, but this is the ideal opportunity to get all of your decision makers into one room, and you can deliver a workshop, a magical maths workshop to them, or it might be that you do a little quick presentation, or you have a similar to an exhibition stand outside from the coffee breaks, and you can hand out flyers about free assembly. This is going to be the best way for you to get to your decision makers, and this has got us some really good results nationally. And on top of all of that, we've got a shock and awe package as well. So does anybody know what a shock and awe package is at all? Those of you from perhaps marketing backgrounds, or anyone want to hazard a guess? We've got some interesting answers coming in. No violence involved. So our shock and awe package is this. So it's a video that goes to the school and will play automatically for that decision maker. So we use video cards and we send them signed for delivery to the school, to your contact. They have to then hold them in their hand, sign for them, and let's be honest, if you were not expecting a parcel or signed for post and you got it, you'd want to open it and find out what it is. So they open it up and there's a video card inside. They open up the video card and you've uploaded your video onto there that will play automatically. So the video, as you can see here, this is Colin dressed up as Professor Poopenstinken, talking to them about magical maths and offering them a free assembly. And you can either use one of our videos, or you can come and use our green screen studio and record one of your own, so that it's a bit more personal to you and your area. So to send out video cards is a little bit more expensive than some of the other marketing, but it gets some really good results. We've sent it out to lots of the biggest schools in Leicester. It's more targeted marketing, and we've got some fantastic results from there. And I think the first 10 that we sent out, we got 8 bookings from, which is amazing in marketing terms. And that won't always be the case, and obviously we were following them up with phone calls and things as well, but they are a very powerful package that you can be using as backup if you need to. There's lots of things we've got up our sleeves that you can take advantage of for marketing in your area. Remember to keep asking lots of questions if you've got them, and I'll hopefully come back to them. Hopefully I'm already answering them as I go, but just keep typing them in and I'll go through them if we've got time at the end, and then send out the FAQs document. So just to quickly tell you about the systems that we've got, and this is a big part of what can make this feel quite part-time, and you can be quite flexible with your hours. So before we had the systems that we've got now, we were doing lots and lots of admin, and I think as well as perhaps not having the marketing skills to get the people through the door to get haircuts admin is a big part of what can make small businesses fail, because they might have those marketing skills and they get all the customers through the door. However, then they don't know what to do with all the admin, because there's lots of it, because there's lots of customers, which is great, but it can really, really slow you down and take up a lot of your time where you don't need it to be. So the kinds of things that we were doing before were going along to all the schools that we had the clubs booked at. We were collecting in envelopes of change, and we were counting out all the money, and we were creating registers using the handwritten reply slips that parents were putting in, making phone calls to the parents to double check it's .com or .co.uk on their email addresses, and double check where the children are being picked up and who's coming to collect them, and blah, 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 blah. Loads of stuff, as well as then going to the bank to pay in all of that money and circulating those registers to all of your staff. There's lots and lots of admin work there that you can imagine would take up a lot of time. But the systems that we've got have been created specifically for Magical Maths. They're bespoke to the Magical Maths business and what we need them to do for us. So the automation that we've got now creates those registers for you. It does the payments for you. It creates the customer service emails and sends them out automatically for you. So you don't need to worry about any of that. Which is meaning that all of that workload that I just talked you through has gone. It's all being taken care of, which means that you can spend more time working on the business and getting it to grow than always getting bogged down with all the repetitive admin that's going to slow you down and potentially put you out of business in its scariest situation. So this is what it would look like. This is the system. This is your website. You would have, this is the booking form on your website, sorry. So parents will go onto the website. I don't know if any of you have been onto our Magical Maths Club website, as well as the franchise website. But the Magical Maths Club website is where parents book and pay for the clubs. So once you've gone into the school and you've done an assembly and you hand out flyers, children take the flyers to the parents and the parents book and pay online, and this is where they come to. So the form is split into 3 pages, which means that it's not one long, boring, irritating form for parents to fill in. Obviously, everybody's very busy, and that could be something that really puts them off. So we've split it cleverly into 3 different forms, which means that if anything happens, like the phone rings or the tea's burning, then they've submitted some of their information, and it means that you can contact them later on and take the booking for them or answer any questions that they've got, which is a really good way of you tracking your bookings and boosting your bookings. And this is kind of what it looks like in the background. You don't need to worry about that really at all, because it's all being taken care of, but it's just to give you an idea of exactly what is going on behind the scenes. So on the left hand side, you can see you've got Magical Maths Assembly, and then as soon as the assembly has gone, you've got people already booking and signing up. So all of those rectangles in the middle, they're all the different emails that are going out automatically to parents on each week of the club. And in the bottom left hand corner, you can also see the prompts to pay. So they're people that have abandoned the cart, and then you can click into that box of numbers and go through all the names and boost those bookings. So all of this is online. All these systems are online. You don't need any specific software. This can be accessed wherever you are. And as I said before, the systems can help to make Magical Maths feel quite part-time and give you much more flexibility. And maybe 2 years from now, you'll be logging onto a beach somewhere, cocktail in hand, just looking at those numbers and seeing how many people you've got, how many children you've got booked onto your clubs, and then how much is dropping into your account that month. And just so that you know what that might look like, Colin's drawn you a nice little picture just here. So that's you having fun in Jamaica. Jamaica's optional. You can go anywhere you like. And just to reiterate, Colin is not an art graduate, he's a maths graduate, so sorry for any offence caused. So that's the marketing covered. I'll go straight into the recruitment because I know that we're a bit tight on time, so I'll just keep going through. Please make sure you're still asking all your questions. So the recruitment is another big part of this business. You'll have to recruit staff to deliver the sessions for you. You can't be everywhere at once. And in order to get the business to grow, you need to have people out there in the schools, in the clubs, delivering your magical maths clubs for you. So to find those people, there's lots of adverts that we've used in the past that have been successful that are now templated, ready for you to use. And we'll provide full training on how to set up the different campaigns. So on your training week with us, which is a week long at head office, we'll spend 2 full days on the recruitment of staff so that you know exactly who to find, where to find them, how to get those campaigns up and running. We use various things. So you've got online jobs boards, we contact universities in your area, we use Facebook a lot, which is proving to be a really good way of finding staff. And we help you a lot with it. So you've got forms on your website and systems that drive traffic to those forms so that people can fill in the application forms and they come straight to you. And the kinds of people that you're looking for, this is a key thing. They're not the kinds of people that are looking for a part-time job necessarily. They're the ones that are really passionate about helping children. They perhaps want to be teachers, they perhaps have been teachers, they might have kids of their own, and they've got that spare time and they want to spend time with children. They don't have to be teachers, they just need to have a GCSE C or above in maths and English, which is the same across the board. They have to be DBS checked, which is the CRB, and they pay for that. And all of your staff are self-employed as well, so you don't need to worry about any kind of tax and holiday pay and all those kinds of things that you'd have with employed staff. And then when it comes to training those staff, that's for you to do. So we train you in how to train them. Usually you'll run a training day every perhaps 6 to 8 weeks, and you can run that wherever you want to. It might be at a university, or it might be at a coffee shop, wherever suits you and your staff. And we've got that training day planned out ready for you to deliver, so you don't need to put it all together. The structure's already there for you. So there's booklets that you can give out to train them, which I'll show you shortly, so that you can see what kind of things it is that you're handing out to your staff. And there's videos that are there to use as well. So if you want to use videos either to remind yourself of the games before you teach your staff, or if you want to email these out, these links out to your staff so that they can watch the games online, then you can do that as well. And then on an ongoing basis, you have to manage the staff to make sure that they're doing a great job for you. So there's lots of tips and tricks that we teach you to make sure that they are doing well. One of them is that you pay the staff at the end of the 6-week course so that they commit to the full 6 weeks. Whilst we're just talking about pay, I might as well give you a bit of a ballpark as to what we pay. It's actually completely up to you what you pay your staff, but we pay between £90 and £120 for the 6 weeks, depending on the different roles that the staff have. So we'll cover all of the things that you need to know for managing your staff in your training week. Okay, so that's it on staff side of things. I'm now going to show you a bit of the content and explain a little bit more about the games and the activities that we do with the children that really bring it to life. So just before I do, just to tell you a bit more about it, all of the content that we've got, as most of you should already know, it's all about making it fun, whilst being genuinely educational and engaging and helps the children. But the main idea is that we're building their confidence, we're getting them having fun. So we do games and activities using the characters to get them using their basic math skills that they're already learning at school and practicing them in a fun environment. So everything we've got is based around the national curriculum, and it's based around what the children are learning in that year group. So you'll always be, you're not going to be teaching the children that are really bright year sixes. They're not going to be bored and having questions that are actually for year ones. It's all kind of laid out for you so that you know what's appropriate for each different age group. And that's been put together by an expert team of content developers here at head office, made up of maths graduates, education graduates, primary teachers that are currently in primary school and people that are retired and now work for us and people that have left and now work for us. And anything that we create, we test it in our local primary school. So our local primary schools love us. There's a primary school down the road that we go into and test all of our games. And we get feedback from the teachers as well to make sure that it's as educational and as up to date as it can be with the curriculum, but also make sure that the kids are really enjoying themselves. So there is going to be some participation required in this. I will just come off of the presentation because we're going to have to get the webcam on now. So hopefully in a second you'll all be able to see me. Can you see me? I can't see myself, so I'm not sure. Here we go. Here we are. Hello everybody. For those of you that haven't seen me before, I'm Bethan. Nice to see you all. So content then. What we have are training programs. And we've got lots and lots and lots of content, loads and loads of games, hundreds of them in fact. There's enough for a child to come in year 3. In their juniors, they can come both clubs that year, and they can keep coming year 4, year 5 and year 6 and never repeat anything. So we've got 8 lots of content in total. So this is what your first year might look like. You've got your Future Genius training program, which is your first 6 weeks, followed by your Future Genius graduation program. And each of these programs is split up week by week, key stage by key stage, game by game. So you know exactly what is being taught on those sessions. And then there's emails that go out to follow up to the schools and to the parents so that they know what the children have been doing as well. So all of the games are laid out so that the staff know exactly what they're doing and you know exactly what they're doing. There are learning objectives up here as well that are not for the children, they're for the teachers and the parents so that you know exactly where it fits into the curriculum. And there's all kinds of tips and tricks that you use to bring it to life or to differentiate it for the different age groups. So everything is planned out for you. You don't need to do any kind of planning or content creation. It's all there ready to go. So there's far too much for me to show you today. So I'm just going to show you a few different games, and this is where I'm going to need your help. So you'll have to bear with me a moment because I must get into character, otherwise it's not the same, is it? So get my wig on. Ooh. How does that look? Nice? I'm looking for feedback here. Okay, so hello everybody. I'm Professor Poopenstinken and I am the cleverest maths genius in the whole world. Do you believe me? Who believes me? Anyone believe me? I'm going to prove it to you anyway. So here's an example of one of the games that we would do with the Key Stage 2s. This is the older children. So can anybody tell me what it is to square a number? Can anyone tell me? What does it mean to square a number? Times it by itself. Well done, all of those that said that. So to square a number, it means you've got to times it by itself. So if we're doing 2 times 2, 3 times 3, 4 times 4, all of those are quite easy, aren't they, really? But when you get a little bit higher, it starts to become a bit harder. So if I asked somebody to square 12 times 12, for example, anybody? 144, well done. If I asked you to square 15 times 15, though, it's a little bit harder, isn't it? Oh, somebody knows, well done. So we have to go even higher than that to prove that I'm a genius. So what I'm going to do is times a number by itself to square it, but it's going to be a number that's really, really big. So let's start with a number that ends in 5, and because they're my favourite numbers, and it goes up to 100. Okay, so any number ending in 5 up to 100, and I'll just pick a number at random, the first one that comes up. So 85 is the first one that's come up. So 85 times 85 is 7,225. Anyone else get that? 85 times 85, 7,225. This is where the participation comes in, guys. I need you at home to be testing it out as well to make sure that I'm a genius. Okay, so that one was a little bit too easy for me. This time, I want somebody to give me a number, and it can be any number. It doesn't have to end in 5 this time. It can be any number. And let's say that it has to be bigger than 90, because last time it was a little bit lower than that. And it has to be smaller than 110. So any number between 90 and 110. I'll go with the first one that's come up, which is 97. So 97 times 97 is 9,409. Anyone get there before me? Oh! Hooray! Whew. That one was a bit harder, that one. Right. So, anyone believe that I'm a maths genius yet? Anyone believe me? Some people are still saying no, so I'm going to have to prove it even more. Right. Let's move all of these aside, and I'm going to have to turn you round to my magic rods. Ooh. So, let me clear some space so that you can see past. And tell me if you can see the... Oh, I'll have to move them back a little bit so that they're all on the screen. Hold on. Oh, a bit more. And I will move the laptop forward so that you can see them. Right. So, can everybody see those numbers? Are they... I hope that they're not mirrored for you. So what I'm going to do is we're going to have an arithmetic race, okay? So what's going to happen is I'm going to twist these rods around, and then I'm going to shout, go! And I'm going to add up all of these numbers down the side without using a calculator, just using my head, quicker than you can. So it's all of you guys on the webinar tonight versus me. And if I add it up quicker and write it down on this board quicker than any of you can, and you can use calculators or whatever you want to, then I'm the winner if I get it before any of you. So it's going to be a race, all right? So this is going to be twisting round. And then let's say, for example, we stop there. We'll add 4 and 9 and 7 and 5. Okay? So you can all see that. I'm going to twist it around. Twist it around. Oh, in fact, I'll close my eyes, just so you know I'm not cheating. Go! Oh my god. I've had brain freeze. 26. Okay, so that's 26. Did anyone get there before me? I think so. You know what? I think it's because it was too easy. It threw me completely. I'll let you guys have that point. Right, next one. Make it a bit harder for me. I'm going to add on another rod. So this time we're adding up numbers in the tens. So the answer is going to be in the hundreds. So it's getting a bit bigger this time. I'm going to twist it all up again. And then I'm going to close my eyes and shout go. And then you guys add it up quicker than I can add it up. Then you get the point. So at the minute it's 1-0 to you. Right. Go. 284. 284. Anyone get there before me? Doesn't look like it. 284. Oh, fantastic. Right, okay, so 1-1. Happy with that? Make it a bit harder this time then. So this time, we're going to be adding up numbers in the hundreds. So this time the answer is going to be in the thousands. So it's going to be quite a big number for me to add up in my head. So here we go. I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to stop there. Go! 2,483. Can you all see that? 2,483. Oh, I think someone was quite close then. Did I get it right? Brilliant. Okay, I hope some of you are starting to believe me that I am the cleverest maths genius in the whole world. One final rod, one final one, just to prove it, to really put the cherry on the cake. So this time, I hope you can all see that, I'll move it down a bit. This time we're adding up numbers in the thousands. The answer is going to be in the tens of thousands. It's going to be huge. So I'm going to mix them up as I did before. I'm going to close my eyes and then I'm going to shout go and let you guys add them up in a race with me. So let's twist them all up. That'll do, that'll do, that'll do, that'll do. Go. 26,282. 26,282. Let me just have a look, see if everybody got that. 26,282. I'm just looking to see if people have checked it. Is that right? 26,282 is what I've got. We'll see. Oh, there's people with different. Okay. Let me just double check. Oh my goodness. You would, oh, this is so embarrassing. You've got no idea. I should have told you at the beginning, but my maths has got so good now that I've actually become a little bit psychic. And what I've done is square the numbers on the back of these rods. Hold on a second. 26,282. Right, that's right, that's better. Oh, that was really embarrassing. Do you want to just check that? 26,282 is the number that you should have. I don't want to cover up that final number. Is that right? 26,282 is the answer. Whew. Oh my goodness. That was really embarrassing. What am I like? Such a genius. So, do you all believe me now? That I'm the cleverest maths genius in the whole world? I hope so. So this is the kind of activity that we would do in an assembly, and we would do this to get the kids really excited, and hopefully, like you, they're asking, "Oh, how did you do that?" They say things like, "Oh, the wig's telling you what to do. You've got an earpiece. You're cheating," but actually, it's just using some really, really simple maths tricks that are really simple stages in maths that just bring this all together and just bring it to life in a really exciting way. So for the children, this is practicing their place value, this is their simple addition and subtraction, and this could even be taught to the Key Stage 1s. We probably wouldn't use all 4 because the numbers would be too big for them, but we could definitely use 1 or 2 rods so that the children in the infants are doing their addition up to 100, or they're using their units and their tens. So this is the kind of game that would get the kids really excited, and then we would show them how to do the actual trick, the activity in the sessions. So as you can see, we're just bringing it to life in a different way and getting them having fun with their maths. So I'm going to spin this back round now and just show you one final activity. Any questions on anything so far? Spin this around. And I'll just quickly take all of this off. It was me all along. So someone's asked a really good question about assemblies. So assemblies usually last about 15 minutes, and you deliver them either, depending on the size of the school, you do a whole school assembly, or you do perhaps a Key Stage 1 and a Key Stage 2 assembly. But we've got, in the same way that the content for the clubs is different, we've got different content for the assemblies as well. So when we're doing an assembly where we've got just Key Stage 1s, we perhaps do a different activity to those that we would do for a Key Stage 2. And then it's at that point where you get the children all excited about the club, and then you go around the classrooms afterwards and hand out the flyers to the children, and then they can go home and book online for the club. Okay, so one more game I was going to show you. I was going to say that's it. So the other game that I'm going to show you is much harder to play via webinar, but it will give you a really good idea of the kinds of content that we've got. So all of the materials that we've got have all been designed, and they're all really professional, really good looking stuff. So we've got these magic calculators that are all branded with Magical Maths. We've got things like shape bingo boards these are like key stage 1s, goal boards and different games and activities that we can play with those. And then the activity that I wanted to show you is a game called, actually I'm going to show you this because I think this is going to be much more interesting. These are our booklets. So in some of the weeks, the children will go home with booklets. Not every week and not all of the children, but when we do things like the swearing activity that I did at the beginning, that's going to be really difficult for the children to remember without being able to take something home with them. So we've got these workbooks that the children take home, and it's not that they're taking home a booklet to do like homework, it's so that they can go home and learn the trick and test their family and their friends on it and be able to do it at school. So all of the kit that you've got is reusable. You buy kit in really big bags of stuff and you can keep it for years and years if you look after it nicely. The only things that aren't reusable are these booklets, and these are the things that you need to top up of every now and again, but they last you a long time because you get them in packs of something silly like 500. Okay, so that's all of the content that I'm going to share with you for now, and it might be that in the future there's more that I can share with you, but for tonight we'll keep it to that because we're very tight on time. It's now 8 o'clock. We've still got a few more things to go through, so I'll try and whiz through, and like I said, I'll answer any questions you've got at the end, and if you've got to dash off or you haven't got time, then I'll be sending out a document anyway. So back to the presentation. Okay, so earning potential, which is a really key thing for a lot of people, and I know that there's a lot of people that will be looking at this tonight and wanting to go through it. Let me get rid of all of these. Okay, so oh no, I've still not got rid of it. You can still see me. There we go. Right, here we go. Earning potential then. So we've got 5 different price bands, and that's because we've got different territory sizes, and they range from 15,995 to 25,995, and it will just depend on the size of territory that you're looking at. Okay, so the bigger the territory, it's likely that the more it will be an investment, and that's because the more valuable we deem the area to be. So if you've got specific questions about your territory, the best thing you can do is just let me know whereabouts you are. It might be that we've already discussed this on the phone and I've talked it through with you, but if we haven't, just type in the territory that you're in and I can follow up afterwards and give you the details that you need. So we've got our petite territories, which are 15,995 plus VAT, and these are what we call the baby territories, and the only reason why they're petite is because they are the smallest ones. That's why they're baby ones. So 15,995 add VAT. We've then got our band C territories as represented by the C, and they are 18,995 plus VAT, and they are again smaller territories, but they tend to be ones where there's perhaps more population density or there's more schools, so the cities are usually what we class as band C territories. We then have band B territories. These are our medium-sized territories, and when you're perhaps looking at combining a couple of different smaller areas, we recategorize them to see which band they fall under, rather than being, 15,995 add 15,995. We see where they fall, and it's usually that they would fall anywhere from here upwards. We've then got Band A territories, which is the majority of the largest territories in the country, and this is where you start to see some more considerable earning potential. And then at the very top end, we've got our A+ territories. These are the biggest ones in the country, and these are the ones that we'd be looking for our absolute best people. There's not many of these in the country, and they tend to be like massive areas, somewhere like Essex, and it's the whole of Essex, or Lancashire, or the whole of North Yorkshire, that kind of thing. And it's important to say as well that the territories aren't split up based just on number of schools, which a lot of people think that they are. It's number of schools, number of children in those schools, size and shape of the area. We look at the level of pupil premium given to the schools in those areas as well. So there's lots of things that go into it. So for those top 2 price bands, we're looking for the absolute best people who are going to be able to get them to their potential. So just to recap, these are the different prices. If you want to make a note of those now, I know that there's been people that have already sent me emails to ask me the prices. These aren't published anywhere else at the moment, so it's best if you haven't made a note of those, just to make a note of them now. Right, so there are so many variables for the earning potential that it's difficult for us to put a direct figure on it. But once you set it up properly, then you could be earning between £30,000 and £80,000 a year. And obviously that varies from the different sizes of territory as well. So to give you an example, a real life example, head office, our assembly sign up is 20 children. We charge £37 for our clubs, and if you booked in 19 clubs a half term over the course of the academic year, so that's 6 times in the year, then that's £81,000, £81,400 in revenue. So that's your turnover, and that is an estimated £36,000 in income for you. So that's your net profit. So the 81,400 in turnover and £36,000 for you, that's not with any activities in the summer holidays at all. So that's with 13 weeks holiday a year. So in Leicestershire, we had 46 clubs booked in September 2015. And that's per half term, and we project to do about £150,000 in turnover across the year. And again, that's not including any of the holiday camps. We are actually running holiday camps in every single holiday across the year. You can do that as well. The content is there for you. You can take advantage of that and put in some holiday camps, but you don't have to. We've also expanded into Northamptonshire in the last year, and we estimate to roughly do £90,000 in sales there as well. That's turnover. So because the earning potential depends on so many different variables, like the size and shape of your area, your work ethic, what you actually want to be earning, then we can talk you through some more accurate projections in a one-to-one session, which comes after, well, I'll tell you a bit more about where that comes later on. But it's important that you get professional advice from a qualified accountant before you sign up to anything, and just to make sure that you're completely happy with the figures. Right, so this is Brian. He's our franchisee in Holton, St Helens and Warrington. And I've put an example of him in here because he's got a great story. He started at Easter last year, and his first 10 weeks that he had leading up to the summer holidays, he set himself a target, and that was to have 60 clubs booked in the following academic year. So in the 10-week time frame, he wanted to make sure he had 60 clubs booked for the following year. He very quickly went over the 60 clubs, so he doubled it and set himself the target of 120, and by the time he got to the summer holidays, he had 114 clubs booked in for the following academic year, and that's before he's even started running those clubs. So come September, he's still marketing, still carrying on contacting the schools, and those bookings have just gone up and up and up now. Wow. And he did that by sending out the letters and postcards that I taught you through. He used personal contacts, and he went and spoke at a local head teachers meeting that we went and helped him with as well. Okay, so the next bit that I'm just going to talk you through quickly is who we're looking for, and this is a really, really important part of the franchise. We need to make sure that we're taking on the right people for the franchise, not the quickest people. It's really, really important that I make sure that you're right for us and that this is right for you. And if I don't think it's right for us or right for you, then we won't take the application ahead. It has to be right for it to work. So there are a few different characteristics that we look for in people. If you want to give yourself a point for everyone that you think describes you, then at the end you can see how you fare. So the first thing, and one of the most important things, I think, is you have to be a people person. So it's very, very important that you enjoy speaking to people and that you've got good people skills, because that's going to be a massive part of the business, building relationships with the schools, the staff, the parents. So you have to have good people skills and be a people person. Number 2 is you have to enjoy helping young people to succeed. So that's not just the children that you're helping in the clubs, but potentially your staff as well, if you've got students working for you. It's what's going to get you up every morning. So it's really important that that's a big driving factor for you. Number 3 is entrepreneurial flair. So we're looking for the kinds of people that can spot opportunities for themselves and not always just wait for people to tell them. So people that are out there kind of creating business for themselves. If a school perhaps says to you that they don't want a club right now because they're focusing on SATs, or that's a good example. They're focusing on their SATs at the moment. Would you just accept that and say, okay, well, we'll perhaps come back later in the year? Or would you think, well, actually, let's create a bespoke club for this school to help them with their SATs? That's the kind of thing that we're looking for. Number 4 is to have ambition. Any business requires ambition to get it to where it needs to be. And I think most people that are considering a franchise are ambitious people. You want to do something for yourself. You've got a goal of where you want to be. It's important that you have a lot of ambition to make this work, not just in the bigger areas, but for the smaller ones as well, because they'll still be challenging. You've got to enjoy new challenges because there will be lots of them. So we want the people that are going to tackle them head on rather than shy away from them. If I skipped one, no, there we go. Number 6 is to have organisational skills. This is very important, particularly for when you're in your early days, because you're going to be balancing lots of plates. You're going to be running the business and learning the business. And it's important for you to stay organised and make sure you're on top of everything, because if you're not, then it can all soon get on top of you and it can end badly. Number 7 is to have energy and drive. So it's I think a really good example of this is one of our franchisees in Belfast. He started the franchise. I don't think he'd even signed his franchise agreement yet. He might have just paid, I think he paid his deposit to take the territory off of the market. And we had lots of things we still needed to go through. And he rang me and said, Bethan, I've got a school booked. I said, what do you mean you've got a school booked? And he'd been down to his children's primary school, been talking about what he's going to be doing, and obviously his enthusiasm and his energy came across, and the school said, great, we'll have you in. And that will have come down to his energy and his drive and his enthusiasm for the business. And you need to have that, and that needs to come across in when you're speaking to people, and that's going to mean your business will go from strength to strength. Number 8 is to take 100% responsibility. So this is your business. Yes, it's a franchise, but this is your business, and what happens in it is down to you. So if it's doing really well, that's fantastic, and that means that you're doing lots of amazing things in your area. But at the same time, if there's things that aren't going to plan, you can't blame other people. You can't say, oh, well, my staff, this happened with my staff, or this didn't work, or it doesn't work in my area, or rubbish things like that. It does work. It's a proven model. It works, and you need to take 100% responsibility for everything that happens within it. But also take it a step further and be responsible for the people that are working for you. You can't blame them. That's not really going to get you anywhere. You've just got to put on a brave face and make it better next time. Number 9, don't worry, there's only 12 of these. Number 9 is you have to be a positive person. I do not want to be adding anyone into the network that's starting with glass half empty, because if you start in a negative mind frame, then it's going to be self-fulfilling, really. You need to be glass half full. You need to be silver lining person. You've got to always see the positive in things. Number 10 is you have to have resilience and be able to deal with setbacks, because in any business there is going to be setbacks. It's not going to be plain sailing. Lots of things will go wrong. You'll get told no as well. So you have to be resilient and keep getting back up. I think it's the people that can keep getting back up that in the end are the ones that are the most successful. People like Walt Disney, who's told, laughed at when he came to the table with a mouse. And now look. Number 11 is to be comfortable with change. For us to make sure that we're the absolute best in the market, we need to make sure that we're always staying a step ahead, and that will sometimes mean changing things. And we'll always be tweaking and changing things to make them better for our franchisees as well. And you need to be okay with that and roll with it. Some people really hate change, and I've always done it this way and I'll always do it that way. You can't be like that. You've got to be open to change for this to work. Number 12 is focus and evaluation. Okay, so I don't know if this is necessarily a skill, but I always like to talk on this one about a training course that I went on recently, that was about an Olympic gold medalist, who was in the gold medal winning rowing team in the Sydney Olympics, for the 8 in the boat, and they were always being told that they weren't the Matthew Pinson and Steve Redgrave of the rowing world. They trained with them, but they were never picked for things. So they went away as a group and started their own training program, where every day their goal was to get closer to a gold medal, which other people had told them that they would never do. So every day they sat down and said, right, what did we do well? What did we do badly? And what are we going to do differently tomorrow? And in doing that every day and being strict with themselves and staying focused and evaluating what they were doing, he believed that is what got them to that gold medal, because they were able to tweak their training, they were able to make it better, and in the end they defied what everyone had said, and they went away and won that gold medal, which on the training course that I went on, I thought that was really, really fitting, and I could definitely apply that to what franchisees need to be doing as well in their businesses. So if you scored 11 or more, then you could have what it takes to be a super successful franchisee. If anybody wants to say what they got, then you can do. You don't have to, but if you think that you got a high score, then that's fantastic. I'll be honest, most people will have some of those. Less people will have most of those, and a very small minority will have 11 or 12. So if you're one of those people that's got 11 or 12, then you could definitely have what it takes to be successful in Magical Maths. Okay, the final bit then is the training and support, which is obviously a really important part of it. When you're set up, what do you get back from us? So you have 5 days initial training at our head office in Leicester, and you have a day on basically every element of the presentation that we've gone through today. So there'll be a marketing day, there'll be a recruitment day, we'll talk you through all of the systems, we'll play games on one of the days, everything that you need to make sure that when you leave on the Friday, the following Monday, you can absolutely hit the ground running with your business. We'll cover it. We've got days where we actually contact the schools with you, where you're sending out recruitment adverts. The last training day that we did, all of the franchisees went away with at least one club booked, if not more, and having responses to their recruitment campaigns, which is fantastic. and it doesn't end there. So when you leave, it's not, okay, I've got the training now, let's do this. We're always going to be there to help you if you need it, because it's not always as simple as that. There's always going to be things you need reminding of, or things you need a bit of help with, or advice on something. And there's a whole head office team here of people that can help you. So there's phone support and email support 9 to 5 every working week of the year. And you'll have your own franchise development manager who looks after you. He's like your mentor in your first 100 days, and then ongoing, to make sure that you've got everything that you need running your business. There's ongoing training masterclasses as well that we run, and there's 3 each year, every year, and webinars on top of that that are relevant to whatever it is at that certain time of the year. So we've had one recently about summer camps. We've had another one about behaviour management. This one on the screen now, that picture was taken at a sales masterclass that we did. So Mark and Catherine in Hertfordshire. If you remember back to the start of the presentation, I talked to you about Catherine and her first 6 weeks. Well, after that, she came in and delivered a masterclass with her husband Mark, because they run the territory together, to let everybody know like what their secrets were, basically. So the next slide is going to be a video, and I hope that it's going to be loud enough for people to hear, and that you can get something out of it. If you can't hear it or it's not working, let me know, because hopefully I'll be able to send it across at a later date.
Mark and Catherine's masterclass was very informative. Lots of useful information. I'm really glad that I made the effort to come up for the day. And additionally, I enjoyed mixing and discussing options with all the other franchisees.
I thought Mark Wee-Way and Catherine Wee-Way masterclass day was really good today. We had lots of ideas from them about how they're building their business, and lots of things to take away.
I thought that Mark and Catherine's day-to-day was really good. I spoke to Mark before I joined the franchise, and his enthusiasm came across to me, and it came across today that he's so passionate about Magical Maths, and he's tweaking and fiddling about to make it better and better and get good results. And that's given me the courage to do a bit more of that myself. So I'm really glad I came today.
What I thought of Mark and Catherine's masterclass was it was a great experience, or it was really nice to look at other franchisees' experiences and see how much hard work they had to put in and what they had to go through to make their business a success.
I would say to any potential franchisees that are looking to come on board, I think the training is very adaptable. It really just responds to people within the role. Everybody's starting from a very different position. I think all the bases are covered really well, but I think the layer on top of that, the master classes we just had today with Mark and Catherine, really add a lot of value. So it's all well and good. Week one, you learn the principles, and you've been doing it for a little while. You want to hear how can you do that better?
Yeah, I totally agree, Damien. I think that the training is excellent, and the support is second to none. I've had lots of support this week with different issues to do with emails and things, and I couldn't have been supported more. I had a phone call at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I had emails at 10 o'clock at night, and I don't think there's many franchise companies that will give you that kind of support. Hopefully I won't need that sort of support very often, but the training and the support is absolutely brilliant in this company, and today just topped it for me.
If somebody wasn't a current franchisee, I would explain to them that the support that head office offer is really, really great. They provide lots of training days throughout the year, and you have different franchisees coming in and giving their own experiences too. So that helps you because you're in the same boat as well as head office supporting you.
What I'd say to those franchisees that haven't yet signed up is there are a lot of good training days with a lot of information. And in addition to the set content of the training days, just getting together with other franchisees on the training course is really informative.
I would say that the training week for Magical Maths, if you're a franchisee thinking of going into that the training week is really key. It was brilliant to get practical ideas about how you're going to run things, and time to interact with other people, and also there was time to kind of really think and plan and of ways to grow the business.
So I hope that was loud enough for everybody and that you could all see that. Okay, so we have a Magical Maths National Convention as well. So it's not just a case of us delivering training to you. We get other people in to do it as well. So we have guest speakers that come to our conventions and share knowledge and expertise with all of our franchisees, which is a fantastic experience and get lots out of it. But also it's really good for franchisees to network and socialise with one another, because you'll have people that are meeting for the first time, you're doing the same thing in your area of the country, and it's a great way to get everyone together, chatting about what they're doing, sharing experiences, advice, helping one another. For me personally, that's a really rewarding experience, because all of these people that I knew could do it and would be great for the franchise all getting together, and all of that energy in one room is mega rewarding. So we do these every summer usually, and we've got the next one coming up at the end of July. We have monthly newsletters that go out to the franchisees, our half-term reports we call them, and there's a franchisee forum as well, so that you're kept in touch with what's happening around the network, and you can chat to other franchisees as well and ask for advice online rather than just waiting to the convention. And wherever possible, we'll come and visit you in your area as well. So it's not just a case of training days at head office. If you've got something in your area that you actually want support with, whether it be your first assembly, whether it be a training day, whether it be just sitting down and having a chat about the business, then we can come and help you. So let us know, and your development manager will put it in the diary and come out to you in your areas regularly, all over the country and out of the office, helping franchisees. It's really important to remember though that we are all in this together, so successes and failures are shared. If franchisees are doing well, it means that that's good for the network, it means everybody's doing well. But if people are doing badly or they're doing something to damage the network, it's very important for us as a head office that we help and support you to make sure that that doesn't happen, but also to make, and this comes back to finding the right people in the first place, is we need to make sure we're finding the right people to make sure that the network is protected. And also if people are doing bad things or failing, then we need to support them and perhaps help them out of the business for the best solution for everybody. So, but we are all in this together, you're not on your own. It's something that's a big family. Right, okay, final bit now. I know that we've overran by quite a bit, so I apologise for that, but I'm just going to go through the final steps then. So for the people that are perhaps watching this webinar and thinking, I am definitely interested to find out more, what are the next steps? I'll talk you through that. If that's not you, then don't worry at all. That's fine. If you've got more questions that you want to ask me, that's fine as well. But this is what you have to do next if you are interested now. So there is a full application process that you have to go through. So from here, you can fill out an application form and email online and email it back to me. That's available in the handouts section. If you see that, you can download the application form there. You'll have to speak to Franchise Finance. So Franchise Finance are an independent company that build business plans for all of our franchisees as part of your initial fee. But they will also have a chat with you as part of our recruitment process to find out how you intend to fund it, give you advice if you want a loan. We'll be able to answer any more, well, what should I say, more complicated finance questions. So that's a really good opportunity for you to ask questions as well as them ask questions of you. I will also put you in touch with franchisees at that stage. So once you've applied, then I'll put you in touch with some franchisees so that you can chat to them. That's really important. And you'll also need to put 2 professional references on your application form. You'll need to submit your CV and a full work history as well. The references are not contacted until later on in the process, where you've decided that you're happy and want to go ahead. The application process is quite a thorough one and a long one, and just by putting in an application form doesn't mean you've made your decision. It just means, right, I'm ready to go to the next steps now. So once you've put in an application form and we've gone through the process of putting you in touch with Franchise Finance and franchisees, if we're happy with the application and we think that you could potentially be a franchisee, we'd invite you to a recruitment day. And this is a day at our head office with various members of the team, where we'll get to know you more, you get to know us more. We'll show you the systems in much more detail. We'll talk through the territories in more detail and business plans and any kind of financial information, just to make sure that you're completely happy, and we'll have an interview with you to make sure that we're completely happy as well. Usually at this stage we're in a good position and we know whether or not we'd like to take it forwards. It might be that we have further interviews or phone conversations to come to a decision, but this is a really good opportunity for us both to get to know one another and know whether or not it's going to work. You should definitely seek professional legal advice on the franchise agreement, which I can send you at any point now. So if you want to see that, just ask. And you, as I said before, you should get professional accountancy advice as well, on any figures that we go through to make sure that you're completely happy. Once you are completely happy and we're completely happy, then if we accept you for the territory and you're ready to go ahead, then you can put down £1,000 non-refundable deposit to secure your area. And it's non-refundable because at that stage we're going to be turning other people away for the territory, and that's what's going to take the territory off of the market for you. From that point, you've got 28 days to sign and return all relevant documentation. You've got to do a DBS check and you'll have to complete the payment. And at that point, you're a Magical Maths franchisee. So that whole process from putting in an application form to deciding you're happy to put down a deposit can be really as quick as or as slow as you want it to be. We're quite quick at our end, so if you put in an application form, we'll review it over a few days, and if we want to invite you for a recruitment day, then we will do, and usually that's within another week or so of the application form coming in. If we're all happy at that stage and we'd be speaking most days, I'd say at that point, then you can obviously put down your deposit if we're both happy. So someone asked a question earlier on about the time frame. It can be as quick or as slow as you want it to be. Our training for our franchisees is generally every 6 to 8 weeks. And I can if anybody wants to know when that is, I can send out details of our next training so you know what perhaps you're aiming towards. But as soon as you've been on your training, then the following week you can be calling schools and getting assemblies booked and clubs booked in. And it can all start moving very quickly. So that's the end of the presentation. I will try and go through some of the questions now, but because of the tightness on time, and I know we've overran, what I will probably do is collate things together and send out a document tomorrow, so that you can have a read through of what other people perhaps were asking as well. I'll just have a quick look through now to see if there's anything that I can cover during the webinar. But if you're happy and you are finished, then you can obviously leave when you want to. There's handouts in the handout section, information on the application form, information on what's included in the franchise fee. So somebody's asked a good question about how much the clubs cost for parents. This is actually completely up to you. So we would just recommend that you don't charge any less than £30 for the 6 weeks, and you don't charge any more than £50 for the 6 weeks. Most franchisees charge around £37 to £40 for the 6-week course, but it's for you to test in your area and for you to see what works where you are, because everywhere is going to be slightly different. So I hope that answers that question for you. Someone has asked a question about what you pay. Okay, so when you first start, there's the franchise fee that we talked through earlier on, which is you either 15,995, 18,995, 20,995, 23,995, or 25,995 plus VAT. And everything that is included in that is in the handouts section, so you can have a little look through. That's your initial franchise fee. You will need to have capital for your startup costs, just generally for the business startup costs, things like insurance and your DBS check, and potentially if you want to buy yourself a business laptop, your hotel costs for the training, things like that, you need to have set aside, and for the kit that you need to buy initially. That will be roughly, depending on territory, between £2,500 and £4,000, and it will depend on the size of the territory and how much kit you need. And you should also have money set aside as working capital. But these are the kinds of things that Franchise Finance will talk through with you to advise as to how much you're going to need, advise if whether or not they think you need to consider perhaps funding or not. But that can all be talked through in more detail with Franchise Finance, or with me probably after this webinar. So I hope that answers that question. There's a question about franchisees operating as limited company or sole trader. Again, that's up to the franchisee. You should get accountancy advice to work out what is best for you and your circumstances. We've got a whole mix. We've got people that have started out as sole traders that will start a limited company later on. Some have started limited companies from the word go. We don't have a preference on that. People that have sent me information about where they are in the country, don't worry, I will get back to you to let you know how much those territories are and if they're available. So if you haven't had that information yet and you want it, then please just let me know where you are in the country and I can give you an idea. Just kind of go through any questions that there are. There's quite a lot in here, which is fantastic. It means that we can get a really good document together for everybody. Okay, I think I've covered everything in here that's kind of generic. I will go into much more detail in the document that I'll send across. So just let me know if there's anything else that you want to ask. Obviously, email me anything you want to. Call me at the office tomorrow if you want to. That's absolutely fine. We can have another chat. If you would like an application form, then please download one or let me know. If you just want to type yes in the box now so I know, or put yes application so I know who wants application forms, because I've got them in different formats if that's easier than a PDF for some people. Just let me know and I can email those out tomorrow as well. And the best thing to do, if you do want an application form, the best thing to do is to fill that out online and get that back to me as soon as you can, because then that kind of opens the door to all of the next bits and pieces, talking to franchisees, speaking to Franchise Finance, and for us to decide if it could be a good match for us both. Well, thank you all for coming this evening. If you want to stick around and type in any more questions, you can do. I'll stick around for probably the next 5 minutes just in case. But as I say, I'll collate all of the questions together so that you can have a read through. You can obviously have a look at what other people have been asking as well. Thank you all for coming. It's been a good webinar. There's been a lot of people on the webinar. So fantastic. And hopefully I'll speak to you all very soon and we can decide if it's right for you or not. Enjoy your evening, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming.